Or were you not on a gay cruise?
No, you're 120% dick pic.
Everybody that age, they're sperminator.
Yeah.
We don't care about anything else. We're a walking hard on looking for a hole.
That's. I have to say you're right on that one. Oh my God.
A stiff breeze comes through the room and you return the favor.
Gunner in. Oh. Somewhere on the outside of this building, there is a hole where squirrels come in.
Better than a hole where dicks come in.
Yeah, better than that.
Going down the stairs to wash the laundry. What the hell? Shh. Pizza. Stop! Stop it now! I order you to stop! I'm still touching myself.
Yeah!
All young bitches want to do is pop pills, smoke weed, get drunk, lay around, suck dick, eat hot Cheetos, charge they phone, get a sew and weave, twerk, be bisexual, eat McDonald's, wash they pussy in the sink, lie, take selfies, and talk shit through Wi-Fi because they phone never on.
I think washing they pussy in the sink is my favorite part. The Vietnamese trade in dongs. Figuratively and literally, I'm sure.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I did decide to look it up. 500,000 dongs is a good night for Pop's ex.
Like most women, he's an emotional thinker.
Good God.
I mean, that's part of the problem we're having now in our society is we have a bunch of emotional thinkers that want the world to, to fall in line with their emotions. That's not... look, reality doesn't give a shit about emotions.
It's my lived truth. Fuck your lived truth.
No, it's not. It's your perspective.
Kiss my ass.
Literally like, hey, Sergeant Pop, you got to turn your bear suit. I'm like, over my dead body. No. Just give me a statement of charges. Yeah. You're never getting this back. Yeah. You can suck it.
I'm going to wear this with my Russian coat.
you will bury me in this. Hey! Why you gotta fucking be like that, man?
Because I'm an asshole, and I learned from the best. I'm sitting across from him, and I'm pointing at you with all four fingers.
All right, first of all, the Russian jacket is World War II surplus.
I'll send you a picture of it, Sarge.
Yeah, okay.
I got you standing wearing it with holding two giant buckets like you just collected all the chum from behind the dump dumpster at the bar, and you're going to go home and make ice cream out of it.
What's up, savages? Terrence Pop here with a episode that actually is live from the lair. And Steve is messing with the cameras.
Yeah, Ron's doing the wrong camera.
All right, so this is what's going on. We literally lost all our cameras just as we're about to go live and start the countdown. And then we were jumping out of our ass trying to get it to work. Luckily, it's working, but I have no idea why it failed. I think we have a bad cable or something, or Murphy's putting his penis in our bungholes.
Somebody in the chat suggested that a squirrel got in and chewed the cables.
Yeah. Now, I'm a little under the weather today. I went through an ordeal today. So not only are we having problems with cameras here in the studio, but I had a camera rammed up my ass earlier about 10 o'clock in the morning. I was getting
paid extra for that.
the lower GI scope thing, and they knocked me out, the whole deal. And it is what it is. And before that, I had to drink the 4 liters of shit your pants poop juice, which was quite wretched. I was able to choke down 3 liters of that and then vomit up the 4th. So not having a good day. But these are the problems that you have to deal with when you get older. So I'm just saying, when you guys get in north of 50, you're going to have stuff looked at because things start to malfunction in your meat suit. Now, we're going to readdress today. We're going to talk about more of this FEMA stuff and what happened in regards to North Carolina. There's more dribs and drabs of information spilling out now after the fact. We still cannot find a hard number for KIAs that took place. All right. We've heard all kinds of rumors that there's all kinds of refrigerator trucks and they're, racking and packing, stacking bodies in there. I haven't seen any pictures. I just heard rumors, so we'll just have to address it as that. Now, there was a flash flood situation that took place in North Carolina. All right. Now, a lot of those individuals in that part of the state live in valleys. And when you have a flash flood situation, you're literally living in front of a water cannon, a pressure washer.
Yeah.
Whole cities have been basically washed away. And I want to know how many people perished. Not to be a morbid son of a bitch, but I want to actually, prove the point that our media is not reporting reality on the ground to the citizens of this country. We got Battle Dwarf on station. We have a guest on who can give us a little more insight into the whole FEMA thing.
We'll call him Agent X for the evening.
Agent X will work just fine.
Good evening, gents.
What's up? All right, so we were talking earlier. Go through some of that history in regards to...
let's have that whole conversation again.
Yeah.
Well, FEMA's been screwed a few times. We've tried to help, tried to set it up. But there was New Orleans in 2005.
Katrina. Yeah.
We went down there. Yeah, Katrina. We went down there with trailers. We bought these trailers thinking that they would be good for multiple events. And so they were god awfully expensive. We sent them down there. We sent a bunch of money down there. The people that got the checks ran out to Walmart, bought out the jewelry departments, bought the big screen TVs. When we went down there with buses to evacuate them, all we could do is tell them, throw that junk in the dumpster and climb aboard. You got 2 bags. You can carry 2 bags out. And so there was dumpsters full of big screen TVs and electronics and all kinds of stuff that people just, it's like a kid with a first paycheck. They were anxious to spend that money as fast as they could. And that was their money to relocate and stay someplace else. Puerto Rico, we got egg in our face in Puerto Rico when we sent containers down there. We sent 20 containers full of food and supplies and camping gear and all kinds of stuff. Emergency supplies. Well, the local magistrate down there decided to put it into a parking lot and block it off so that nobody could get in there and let it rot.
Now, stand by. I want to interrupt right here.
Okay.
There are some news media stories that I read that came out 18 months or a couple years after the fact in Puerto Rico, that they found whole warehouses full of disaster relief stuff that was now spoiled.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the local magistrate was trying to play political games. And see, FEMA can't deal directly with the people. We've got to deal through the government. It's typical government. The going joke is we're from the government and we're here to help. Because we have to follow lines, we're restricted in what we can and can't do. We're now, FEMA's turned around from that. There was also let me mention a third incident, and that's the ice storms that happened in Oklahoma. Tulsa, Oklahoma got hit by a major ice storm. Huge amount of good Samaritans came up from Texas with crews and cleaned out 90% of the trees in Tulsa, whether they were ice damaged or not. And then they were contractors, and they turned around and billed the people by putting liens against the people's property.
Wow. Okay.
For their removal of the trees.
So in an emergency situation like that, I know just enough about this segment of law to say that those guys didn't have any business doing that at all.
No, they didn't, but they did it anyway. And they're still sorting out people that are trying to sell their homes and all of a sudden have a lien from years ago where somebody cut down a tree and put a lien on their property.
Nope. Not a valid lien. No contract was entered. No services were asked.
I know, but it still clouds the.
Oh, no, I know. They'll tie it up in court for as long as they can, but they're not going to win.
It's a mess, but it costs money to go to court.
Yes, it does.
And that's what those guys were counting on.
Yeah, because I worked in real estate and I was a mortgage broker for a while, and I can't tell you, it happened probably 4 or 5 times a year. We're going to a closing, and then the title's jacked. And about half the time, you can't even close the property because they have to go to court and deal with the situation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so FEMA's got their hands tied. So they decided to take another route. And that is make emergency managements. And that is empower the local people and train the local people so that they can respond and coordinate effort on the ground locally.
Okay.
And everybody says, where did all this money that has been given to FEMA went? Well, it went into trucks, gear, training, emergency management people, stuff, I mean, how much did the military spend on your training, Pop?
A lot.
Oh God, I'm worth well over $3 million.
Yeah, a lot of money.
Yeah.
But
and we've got
here's the
emergency
thing.
managers in every county all across America.
All right, stand by. Here's the thing, though. All right, so the military already has something in place for this. It's called civil affairs.
Yep. I was a ground guy. Pop was a coordinator.
Yeah, and I did civil affairs for 13, 14 years. I was on the ground for a couple of minor emergencies and other, big muscle training events. My thing is and this is a criticism. This goes along a lot of, you have the military system and you have the civilian system.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a disconnect there.
Oh, yes.
Because we literally have whole units that this is their bread and butter. But we can't use them on the civilian side because the civilian side, you got to have all kinds of civilian certifications and what have you. It's the same thing when I had to deal with a couple guys who worked at Army CID, and they got out of the military and they could not get a job in the civilian sector as a cop because of bullshit. So I think we're double and triple billing our own government in regards to these efforts. Would you agree?
Very likely.
Well, there's not that much overlap because we work with the military.
Mm-hmm.
We are integrating with the military, and a lot of our exercises and stuff do involve them.
So let's be specific. You're talking to two old military guys here. What do you mean integrating with the military? What type of units? What level, as in battalion, brigade, and what sort of skills are these units bringing to the field?
The problem is it is all volunteer. It has to be volunteer on the part of the military because we cannot order the military to do anything.
That's correct. But what type of units are showing up? What kind of volunteers have you seen?
Personnel.
Okay.
Just personnel.
The local troop sends a couple guys to our meetings and sends a couple guys out when we do exercises and
Oh,
tabletops.
most of the states out there have a National Guard civil affairs units.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I
No,
believe-
that's absolutely true. Alaska's at the 47th. Hawaii's got 322.
Uh-huh.
96, which is 18th Airborne Corps, works out of the Carolinas. There's a bunch of others I can't remember off the top of my head, but 11th Group was fielding a civil affairs team. They
Yeah.
would send two basically ODAs.
Yeah, but the thing is here is, all right, it would be a lot easier if the federal government deemed it a disaster site and then could mobilize military civil affairs units to help with the coordination and what have you. And we were talking about last week about how FEMA was cording off the area and not letting anyone in and out. And could you
Oh,
elaborate?
wait, he told these stories when we were setting up.
Yeah.
Let's have that conversation again about the
Well, that's like at the ice storm where all the vultures show up. And we don't know who is a vulture and who is legitimately giving to it. We set up waypoints and usually take over a parking lot or buildings and set up where they can drop things off and then we can redistribute them. And we know that there are no strings attached then. If we just turn our back on it, semi trucks pull up, open the doors and say, we've got water for sale, and start selling water, start selling sleeping bags, start selling commodities.
That sounds like a local law enforcement issue to me. That's local law enforcement needs to be dealing with that kind of stuff. That's not a federal government level problem.
But the federal government, when we step in, we have to coordinate that off. And also we've got drones. We try to get our drones flying and assess areas.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone flies in there with a helicopter, we can't fly our drones. We cannot get in there and assess the property. We can't see what's going on.
I gotcha.
Altitude, airspace, in the case of drones and helicopters, is completely different. So whoever you have coordinating that doesn't understand airspace and depth. You need somebody in there basically you need an Air Force combat controller.
Yeah.
Those guys really know how all of that stuff works. A helicopter has to travel at a certain altitude unless it's really going to do nap of the earth, and no regular pilot is going to do anything like that. It's a very military move. Those drones fly at an average of 200-300 feet.
Up to under 400 feet.
Yeah.
But when you get a bunch of yahoos showing up when helicopters
mm-hmm.
flying in and out, they do not follow the rules. They don't use our frequencies, radio frequencies. They just come in, appear out of nowhere, do whatever they want to.
Yeah, I'm not being combative here. I'm just talking through the logical process because you ever heard of an RSO&I?
No.
It's a military exercise, reception, staging, and onward integration. I was cadre for that a bunch of times, and the biggest task we had was coordinating exactly what the three of us are talking about right now. Making sure that airspace was handled, making sure that shoreline was handled, making sure that ground transportation and MSRs, main supply routes, were all handled, all of that stuff. Where are you going to herd civilians to? You need more than one place to do that. What corridors are the military going to travel on so we can keep civilian aid off of those corridors? That kind of thing. I've done a lot of really heavy core level coordination for that kind of thing. And it sounds to me like you guys are really lacking serious coordinators.
Well, there's that. And it's hard to coordinate with, civilians that have just gone
That's
through
what I had to do in civil affairs overseas.
Yeah.
That is an emergency manager's job.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
I was working with Korean civilian government, U.S. civilian, because State Department has to stick their freaking noses in everything. We hated State Department. Those guys are douchebags. State had to stick their nose at everything. The Korean people in each little area, a borough in Korea is a gu, and each of the little gus had their own boss. basically. You had to coordinate with them to get anything in and out of those areas. And this was during a huge monsoon that swamped the entire country in 1998. And then the coordination of getting all of the countries, it was the US, New Zealand, and Australia sent aid for this particular monsoon. But the level of coordination that it takes, your coordinators need to know when they're overwhelmed and when they need to seek coordination for a specific type of event. As far as the radio frequencies go, the civilians can't use the frequencies that the government helicopters can use unless they're given specific permission. That should be coordinated.
And in some cases, they got to have specific equipment in those civilian helicopters to talk to.
No, you can use guard freaks.
What if there's frequency hopping or if they're encrypted?
They still have the capability to get some sort of UHF or VHF into those helicopters.
Okay.
To coordinate on an open government frequency. You've got all that ham frequency, all those spectrums. You can shut down a frequency band and take that.
Most emergency managers have a $7,000 radio that will do 250 channels, including encrypted.
There you go.
There you go.
And we set up the repeaters.
I'm familiar with those. We call those Tigers, retrans. Yep.
Here's another thing you got going on is you have a lot of people out there, especially in current year, who do not trust the federal government.
Nobody trusts you guys. I'm sorry. We've been talking before the show, and it's clear to me that you guys really are intent on helping, but nobody trusts you guys, man.
Yeah. And
well, that's the biggest joke with the emergency management is we're from the government and we're here to help.
Exactly.
Correct.
Exactly.
But that's
this is our opportunity to actually talk about it. I've never heard anybody bring somebody who has Agent X's knowledge come on a show where we can actually discuss this and say, hey, here's the perception. I'm sure you guys are aware of it. Now, here's it from the other side of the fence. Let's talk about it. This is a really good opportunity.
We have one more level, and that is we have to assess the cost number. And for various costs, that qualifies us for certain grants. And everything in our departments are done by grants.
Uh-huh.
And so you have to make sure you get your paperwork in line and everything so you can get grants to get reimbursed.
First of all, let's be honest. I have written a couple of grants when I was in college and then shortly thereafter. And that is a huge, huge nut roll.
Well, it's not the same as getting a personal grant. It's a FEMA grant. And we're pretty much guaranteed we can sign up for it. But
there's boilerplates in place is what he's getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's markers in place that we have to make. And so we have to get out there, evaluate it, see how much damage is there, see what the death toll is, and then report that back to FEMA. And they give us how much money we can spend going in and fixing it.
See, this is a bean counter who set that up because right off the bat, you said, see what the death toll is. You know, and I know, and everybody else out there knows that you talked about that first 72-hour period where the disaster area is basically on its own. And that's because it takes time to coordinate. That's not, fuck you, here's 72 hours, figure it out. That's what it takes to coordinate those things. I've seen it.
Well, we can't.
But you're not going to know the death toll for weeks.
We can't even get a death toll from North Carolina.
It's been 3 weeks now.
Yeah,
and we can't get a proper death
toll. So that's probably another thing that the government and
it's bean counters getting in your way. You, Agent X, you're the guy who actually wants to help. The bean counters are the ones who are getting in the way here.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's the bean counters, the president, because the president has to authorize us to do what we need to do directly. And if they don't authorize, we can't do anything.
Power. That's interesting.
And then after we get authorized, we can go in there and start counting and tallying and figuring out how much is going on. And you never hear about any of that on the news. You won't.
So if you guys ever want to be, and I mean you guys on the ground, not the bean counters here, ever want good civilian cooperation, this kind of thing needs to be known. There needs to be somebody who can go into a community and sit down in a briefing room or a council chamber of some kind and say, hey, here's how this works.
That's what we do. And we train, I found it out hundreds of brochures telling exactly, here's what a turnout bag is. Here's how to pack it.
Nobody
And
reads those brochures.
their slogan is the first 72 is on you.
Yeah.
You are responsible for the first 72 hours of survival.
Yes, that is irrefutable. And there's no way, even if the entire government could focus as a single-minded organism, which is just never going to happen.
It's not going to happen.
Any government, you still are stuck with that first 72 hours.
Yeah. Yeah. The other day you mentioned these trucks come in with the satellite links.
Yeah.
Tesla. Well, we get grants to pay for that, and we've purchased all those. Those are the trucks. That's where all FEMA money has gone, is to build those trucks, outfit them, get them into individual counties' hands, so that when there is an emergency, they can turn up and do what they need to do.
What is the purpose of those vehicles?
And that wasn't donated. That's so we can communicate and fly our drones and see and actually evaluate what's going on. In order to coordinate, you need information. So first stage is gather information. Second stage is coordination between the sheriff, police, the fire departments, the hospitals, the ambulance services, the first aid, Red Cross. We've got a Baptist group that goes in. That's really good. And vetting everybody so that we know who's going in there and they're not just con artists showing up to rip people off.
Part of the catch is what we talked about earlier. I'm going to slide this one in there.
All right.
Is with the vetting process, again, a lot of the civilian population doesn't trust you guys to vet. And that's not a dig at you. That's just the reality of the situation on the ground in a disaster like this.
All right.
Absolutely.
Also, I want to ask you a question. Have you heard the rumors that property is being seized up there in North Carolina?
Oh, yeah. Every emergency manager I know is a conspiracy theorist, big time, because we see both sides of everything that's going on. What happened in the island over there in Hawaii was a land grab.
Fires. Yep.
And that was intentionally set. And there are factions that are destroying this country, working to destroy this country. And there are factions that are trying to save it.
Yep.
Okay. But, like we've heard some reports of land being and property being seized up in North Carolina. And I just want to know if you heard anything like that or.
Oh, yeah, I'm following it too.
Okay. So, I mean, so you're hearing the same
Has
rumors
any of that been
we are.
corroborated?
I don't know. I would like to actually.
The lithium mines have already been established, the parameter for the lithium mines.
We know that.
There has been contracts signed.
Now, did that happen before or after the hurricane?
Before.
Yeah. But there were certain
in 2
principalities.
years in the workings.
There were certain principalities that were not going along with the mining because of
because it's their damn land. That's why.
Yeah, it's environmental impact, what have you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it is convenient that this storm hit right in that area.
Yeah.
That area has never experienced a storm like that in modern, that is to say, technological history.
This is beyond the 1,000-year storm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that area has never in the current modern era been hit with anything like that.
Now, I've seen this happen in New York State because I was stationed out there for about 5.5 years. And during the time I was there, I experienced 2 or 3 severe flooding events. I mean, they're pretty bad. And some of these properties that were right along the edge of these viaducts and rivers or what have you were basically purchased by FEMA and then bulldozed to the ground. Is that a common practice as well? If it's a property that continually gets flooded out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they come in and they want loans and they help me, I'm a victim. And you can only be a victim for so long, and people go, you're not a victim anymore.
Yeah.
In my estimation, New Orleans should go away because we're pumping to keep it dry.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct. I mean, you're living below the sea level. I mean, what are you thinking?
The French built that city in the early 1700s and managed to figure it out with dams. We've lost the technology that the French, the surrender monkeys, the cheese-eating surrender monkeys,
Yeah.
came up with almost 300 years ago.
Uh-huh.
They drained and raised New Orleans as a city, and we suddenly don't have the technology to do that anymore.
Correct.
There's a difference between a small village of people and a massive city.
New Orleans was fairly large for its time, though.
For its time, yes.
Yes.
But now we've got a lot of soot coming in and filling up all those levees and dams and drainage systems. And to go back in there, people build, the soot comes in, the people build houses on top of it.
The silt, you can't build on silt.
They do.
I mean, it's not going to work. They may do it. It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
So, are you familiar with the city of Venice in Italy,
Yes.
with its famous canals and everything? Do you understand how that city works in particular?
It's sinking between 6 and 12 inches a year.
It is sinking 6 to 12 inches a year, but it was built hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And the way that they did it was drive enormous pylons into the dam silt, which eventually petrified over time. And they built the entire city on top of that. So that it's sinking 6 to 12 inches a year right now is pretty remarkable given the engineering they pulled off 1,000 years ago.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
And
absolutely correct.
it's kind of what I'm getting at is we have the technology to do these things, but we can't seem to marshal it and marshal the resources to employ it.
Well, the word you're
to
looking for is
unfuck
motivation.
Situations like these. They're plenty motivated. They're motivated politicians lining their pockets. They're motivated NGOs lining their pockets.
Then you have the thieves and the scumbags.
Yeah. And they're motivated contractors lining their pockets. That's why we're in the situation that we're in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm glad we have him on the show here.
Yes.
Because we are actually getting the other side of the equation here.
Yes. Yeah.
'Cause
he's been saying a lot of stuff that makes a great deal of sense
Yes.
to me that we probably wouldn't have got around to thinking about without these questions. And Agent X, we're talking about you.
Yes.
If you're not
Now, listen here,
that's
Agent
the
X.
person.
I'm just going to be honest. I'm still a conspiracy theorist, and I don't trust the government. I love my country, but I don't trust my government. I'm just saying.
I don't like my government either. I love the country. I don't like the government.
Pop, I think we have a fellow kindred spirit with this guy in that, correct me if I'm wrong, Agent X, most of the guys who actually put boots in mud in your organization are much like the guys in the army who put boots in mud.
Yeah. You show up and move shit.
Those guys will show up and do shit and get shit done. It's the bureaucrat level for us majors and above. For him, probably GS 13 and above.
No, I would say GS 11.
I mean, you tell us, Agent X, you're right here. Where's your fuck up level? Every organization like this has a level at which everything gets fucked up.
Well, it runs pretty well from counties. It's okay for the state. Anything above that, it's just bean counters.
Where do your G levels start? I know they're there.
I'm not sure about G levels.
You know what I'm talking about?
No.
We're talking about pay rate.
Okay, it's a federal government pay rate, and it starts at GS 9.
No, you can start at GS 7, GS 8.
Yeah,
and then
those are the low level wonks. You get up to 13, and now you're at upper middle level management, and then the big kahunas who
lower level is
Maryland.
GS 11.
Yeah. All the big kahunas live in Washington, D.C., and Maryland and Virginia. That's the SES level. And I know there are SES level FEMAs.
Yeah.
There's at least 2. They're like general officers.
But typically, I've seen GS levels right around 11 and up, like totally shit the bed, floss their ass to the sheets on the way out. and then get promoted up.
I almost
The
got
whole
around-
idea of the
Probably.
emergency management system was
What'd
to
you say?
turn that over to the little people. Let the bottom work.
Yeah, but you're not going to allow the bean counters are going to get in the way because they have to count the beans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's always a problem.
So because this is a unique opportunity. We've never had the opportunity to speak to somebody like you. Let's start with 0 day -2. You see the storm coming. What does FEMA do?
What we do as emergency management is we
Steve, I'm gonna hit the
start
rest.
talking. We
Pop-
start talking to everybody and lining up who's the fire departments, what they're doing, what equipment they're needing, lining up who we need to get in there and fix the problem after the storm.
Okay, so you're starting here at around T -0, T -2 or 3.
Oh
Or
yeah.
how
Well,
far
we're
out?
actually 3 or 4 weeks out.
You can't.
We
see
know
the
when
storm
these
coming for
seasons are
4 weeks.
coming and we
Well,
know what's
the
going
seasons
on.
are coming, sure, but
We do a lot of training. We do a lot of tabletop exercises
okay.
where we plan out these things that potentials,
We call it sandboxing. Yeah.
sandboxing. And then we go in there and we can see the storms coming and we watch the radar. We have a lot more intensive radar than the average person is
Oh, I know.
have available.
I know. I used to bug the crap out of the NEMA guys. I knew where all of that stuff was buried. I would go bug the NEMA guys and get everything.
And we're working with NORAD and we're working with
Exactly.
all these reporting agencies and radar. So we track everything. And then we try to get in there as fast as possible after the storm and start organizing things and tallying things and get the bean counters the information they need so that we can start the ball rolling to get people in there fixing it. And I'm not talking about just let's go in there and save the people. Let's go in there and repair the power grid after this storm.
Infrastructure.
We pulled
in
from
any disaster scenario like this.
we pulled from over 400 power companies to send people in there to rebuild the power grid. As soon as the storms were over, they started hitting the ground.
Now, here's the thing that got said a bunch of times. And I know that some of this is true because some of my guys that I am able to talk to that are in the special operations community said a lot of our electrical grid hardware, the big pieces that you need to, the core pieces of the grid, a lot of that got sent to Ukraine.
Yeah.
Is there any truth to there being shortages of that for the Carolinas and now Tampa area? Do you know anything
That's
about that?
the federal government, and that's where they're sucking everything back out as much as they can. So
All right,
absolutely true.
So hang on. All right. So let me wrap my head around this. All right. So in the beginning of the year, when you come to the end of one fiscal year and they got to come up with a new budget, they pour a whole bunch of resources into a pot for disaster relief, what have you.
Yes.
Right. So you begin the year with that. Now, are we or are we not having douchebaggery dipping ladles into that stew pot of resources and taking them elsewhere that they're not supposed to go to?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We go look and we figure out we've got a disaster. We know how much it's going to cost. We start lining out things to get in there, crews to go in and fix things. And we find out what resources are available that are supposed to be on the shelf, but aren't there.
Do you have any contacts with anyone that has eyes on or can get the statements showing the money being reallocated out of the fund?
Ooh,
No.
that would be a risky move.
No,
That's internal stuff to try and get that out. And
that's
even
way
past-
above us.
Yeah,
I got you.
yeah.
I'm just asking.
I know where those dogs live.
But here's the thing, though. You should be able to get that information with a FOIA request.
You should be able to, yes, but for one of them internally to do something like that, then present it publicly presents a tremendous risk to person. That's bad juju.
Okay, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
We can FOIA it though. We can definitely FOIA it. I don't know how much we'll get, but we can definitely FOIA it. Yeah, I don't want to put anybody at risk. That's stupid.
No, fair enough. Fair enough.
And there's a million different sources that you could FOIA.
Yeah.
Who do you FOIA?
Yeah, we'd have to go through that. I know how to do that digging. We had to get resources when I was overseas, and I'd have to sit down and dig it all up again. But there were channels within channels, and the acquisition system is an absolute nightmare to deal with. To get equipment, everything, you had to have an NSN for everything.
Yeah.
And
we don't work with that so much because we don't handle the major disasters as far as major planning. We're more local and dealing with the local fire department. And we go and inventory the fire departments. We inventory the ambulance services and inventory everything that, what we've got, and then gather that information. And then we look at the resources we have and what we can do with those resources.
How long does it take you to do the inventory for a buildup? We're going to go from where you're at right now into Ashleyville, North Carolina. How long would it take to do that roughly, ballpark?
This inventory is done once a year or twice, once every 2 years for certain fire departments, and once a year for most fire departments. We go in and make sure that their gear is up to date, and that what is supposed to be on their docket is there.
So do you guys have an ADVON? An ADVON, how to describe, that's the element that goes in to set up right away to get communications in place, to radio back to the larger element to tell them what to expect, what to bring, what to leave behind, and how many people to bring and what routes to travel.
Absolutely. We do it by request. Excuse me. There's a web page that we use, a web system that we use, and we request information or request equipment. Each emergency management needs something. And when they post it, somebody else will come on and say, I have it, we can deliver it. And then it gets moved to the position we need it. And then later, the refunding money for that, we bill everything. Most of the time we don't, 90% of the time we don't get paid. But if we, like a water mule, big tank on a trailer.
I know what water mules are.
Yeah.
We know what those are.
We get a request for one, we take it out. When we get it back, we have to clean it, make sure everything's potable and do that. We bill whoever got it. 90% of the time, we don't get paid for it. But if there is a disaster that meets the federal limits and we get grants for it, then all of those receipts can get funded.
Okay.
So disasters have a level. Can you give us a description of those levels?
I don't have the numbers in front of me. I'd have to look it up. It's all in my notes.
All right. I'm going to put out a little bit of info. All right, everyone watching the show, we've been like radically demonetized. I know I say this every time, but every little bit helps to keep this show going. And hopefully moving forward, we'll be able to attack a lot of these bizarre subjects from different new angles. We're trying to find new and improved guests to give that insight. And, you got two grunts here with like 50 some odd years worth of experience looking at a lot of this stuff on the ground. And we can see through the bullshit when a lot of people out there just can't. So please, every little bit helps. I'm just putting that out there. Thank you. All right.
Yeah, the demonetization thing. We've been accumulating viewers because we have the new commercials running on Detroit television.
Yeah.
And Pop actually has commercials on Detroit television, which is a little funny in its own right. But as far as YouTube goes, our earnings will not budge above $1,300 a month and have dipped as low as $700 a month just in the last couple of weeks, and YouTube is clawing back money from shows Pop put out 15 years ago.
10, 15 years
10,
ago.
15 years ago.
Yeah.
Because now they deem them unfit. So that's the kind of thing that's going on. We've got our own little FEMA crisis going on here. Can we get a FEMA team on this? do we rate on the disaster scale here?
Yeah.
Because we're just trying to save lives, man.
FEMA, all of the grants and stuff go to repay the fire department.
That's interesting. Tell us about that.
Emergency services, the power companies, they don't go to individuals. That's a completely separate program. And primarily it's a voucher system where you can borrow money from FEMA and you have to pay it back.
So what was the story going around about everybody was going to get $750, but those were loans? Was that the question here is, was that coming from FEMA or is that straight government?
That's coming from I don't know where, because a lot of it, the federal government says you have this amount of money, and everybody goes, well, there's so many people, so let's divide that by the number of people, and that's how much they should get. Kamala's
magic money biscuit. Yeah.
Yeah. It actually, when a disaster happens, we set up a building full of tables. Everybody sits down, figures up how much they need and how much we can give them. And there are limits, but it varies case to case.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, when you say everybody sits down,
case by case.
Yeah.
And we have people that come in to do that. That's not
when you say everybody sits down to figure out what they need.
Yeah.
Who is the everybody in that equation? Who sits down across the table from you? Are we talking county supervisors? Are we talking individuals? What?
That would be a FEMA worker specifically to work out what type of loan you need and work out
who is the you in that equation is what I'm getting at, though. Who is recipient?
Oh, who is the recipient? Anybody who shows up.
Like anybody, Joe Blow.
Yeah, Joe Blow walks in there and says, my business was blown away. And they say, well, prove it. What business did you have? Where were you? Justify yourself.
The whole goddamn town is gone. Not to put too fine a point on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what kind of building did you have?
Okay. Yeah. No, your questions make sense. I've experienced that as well. We went through that process during the floods in Korea and then the tsunami in Thailand. I wasn't part of the one in Thailand, but I saw all of the crap because I had to redirect on an RSO we had to send a bunch of people there. So yeah, I get that. That makes a lot of sense. But what do you do in a situation where an area is obviously just gone?
We go in, search and rescue, tag buildings as far as what's been covered, what hasn't, denote damages, photograph everything, document everything, and then file reports.
Been there, done that.
Oh yeah, the government filing reports? No, it doesn't do that ever.
All they did was file reports.
Yeah.
And they try to streamline it with this web page, and it works to a point. But we're also we try to get water to people, and it's not just we need water. We need potable water. We need water that's not going to come with a hidden fee on it.
So water is obviously a critical resource, and I will tell you right now that when you see the images of piles of bottled water, that's almost meaningless in a situation like that. The first thing you have to do is get the water back running or get filtration systems in there of some kind. Obviously, somebody at FEMA must understand that. Can you speak to that at all? That's number one critical. I don't care about electricity. No water, no life.
Yeah.
We don't come in there and take over the water company's business.
The water company's gone.
The water company has to come in and take care of their business. And so we're there to support with other water companies, employees that can come into an area and start helping plumbing and rebuilding the system that was there or replacing what was there.
In this particular case, much of the area is rural, and most of the people are going to have wells. My farm has wells. How do you help anybody in that situation?
In that case, you should have had insurance to cover the well so that when it's gone, you can replace it.
I'm talking about in the immediate. They've got no water at all.
We would bring water bottles in and water buffaloes.
Okay.
I'm trying to get a perspective on what the scope is here, because it's obviously critical.
Yeah, and you said the insurance companies. I mean, that's a 90-day process.
Well, that's a big thing. Is a lot of people think FEMA is their insurance. It's not.
Why do they have that impression?
Because they don't understand that it's private property.
What is private property?
Your land is private property.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
So I'm restricted on what I can do on your land. If I walk onto your land and a building is knocked down, I can go in there and search it under the guise of searching for maybe a body in there or a live person I can rescue. But beyond that, I'm restricted and not allowed on your property unless you give me permission to come on your property.
Okay, so that's a useful piece of information.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good right there.
What sort of, and this is a very real question. I haven't worked like tip of the spear on search and rescue for this kind of thing, but I've helped coordinate the teams. What sort of resources and teams does FEMA use for search and rescue?
We do search and rescue all the time. And that's we had a 76-year-old walk away from their home 2 nights ago. And we went out and did a search and rescue, found them within 30 minutes because they only walked about 300 feet from their house and was off in the bushes.
That's a 76-year-old who went for a stroll. I'm talking about
with dementia.
I'm talking about a series of annihilated small towns.
We do the same thing.
Okay.
We have to establish who's missing.
Well, I get that. What I'm asking here is what sort of personnel are there, because military search and rescue, you're talking about highly trained guys who are in really incredible shape, who are capable of all kinds of stuff up to and including minor engineering feats.
Yes. And also, I got to ask you a question here real quick.
We have a team in my county. Hold on. We have a team in my county that's about 45 strong.
Okay. That
does nothing but search and rescue constantly year round. And if there is a major event, then they go out and do the search and rescue.
Okay. Honestly, FEMA should showcase some of that stuff, because a lot of us only see what's on the TV, and it looks like 75-year-old guys sitting at folding tables next to trailers. That's what the news shows. So if there's a real search and rescue capability within FEMA, it would do well for them to showcase it, for crying out loud.
How many times have you visited your local fire department? Know your local firemen?
I live in a small rural county. I know all of those guys.
I myself do not.
You live in the middle of Detroit.
Yes. I got a question for you. Does FEMA actually keep a master list of individuals who are missing in a stricken area?
They try to.
Do you know where that is, so we could try to find it?
Hard, dude.
It's not open to the public. That's something we're privy to, and we don't share that information.
That's deaths. Until the deaths are notices released, that's not.
No, but you're not saying deaths. You're saying missing.
I bet
as soon as we get numbers, we release that to the media.
Okay.
We don't do it on individual levels. We do it kind of general. And the news, it's up to the news to report that. And we try to get them the most update numbers as possible, as fast as possible.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at some of the news, and we're still at 200 people killed. I know
those are confirmed kills.
Way higher than that.
Confirmed deaths. And that's what we can give out is confirmed information. The estimate is about 1,100.
Okay.
Way low. I'm telling you right now.
That-
I've seen an event of this size. You guys are way.
or maybe it's 11,000 people that are missing
would
and
make-
unaccounted for.
That would make much.
Yeah.
But we can't
'cause-
confirm them. We can't.
No,
we
no, no.
can't
I
say-
understand.
No, I'm not asking to confirm.
we can't. So we can't
This
confirm
is
those
challenging.
numbers out
We're
to
just
the.
having a discussion here because it's good to know these things. We've never heard the conversation we're having right now. Have you heard this conversation anywhere else in the public sphere? I don't think
No.
I've ever seen a FEMA guy sit down with a couple of old grunts and go, "Hey, here's what's going on, and here's what you guys need to know, and let's dispel a bunch of your myths about FEMA."
Yeah, and we're not here to put
Yeah.
a sign around your neck, boogeyman. Actually, we wanted to hear your side of the story.
Yeah,
so
this
we
has
can.
been really helpful. I didn't
Yeah.
know about, for example, the search and rescue capability. I'm very serious. I think somebody should go to the FEMA director and say, "Hey, if the public knew we had real serious search and rescue guys, they might take us a little more seriously."
Yeah.
The current public impression of FEMA is that it's roly-poly older dudes and cat ladies in khakis with trailers and folding tables.
Huh.
That's the
Unfortunately.
current public perception.
So you just gave us a number of unconfirmed 11,000 ish.
That's a guesstimate. That's
a
off the
guesstimate.
top
I
of
got
my
you.
head.
That's
And
what
that's
our
not
guess
based
was
in
as well.
anything.
No,
we're not
we're not
asking
putting
you-
that
we're not
number on you.
asking
We're
you.
not putting
Yeah.
that number.
We came to the same conclusion.
I came up with a number of 10,000 last Tuesday, and Steve was like, "No, it's too high."
And then I had to re-estimate based on the conversations
Yeah.
that we had on the previous show.
Because
So
my
we're not
mind,
challenging you at all. We're agreeing with you.
Yeah.
That's the number we
Yeah.
came to.
because my mind was stuck in a minor nuclear warhead event. 10,000 killed is pretty much right off the bat.
I would like it if people got more involved. And that's the whole problem, is getting people involved. All these people want to get involved when there's a major disaster, but they don't want to get involved on any given Tuesday when all the meetings and planning really go on. And when everybody is asking for who wants to form a search party and be on the team and get training, formal training in search and rescue in your community.
Real SAR work is real hard.
Oh yeah.
People do not understand that. That's why we were asked. That's why I'm asking the question about what kind of people they have on your end, because I know that the real thing, not finding the guy who wandered off or the kid who is missing and his bike was found by the parking lot, but major disaster. We're talking severe casualties, lots of gruesome stuff that a normal person isn't going to be able to emotionally process, honestly.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. So it's good
Then
to know that there is an actual element in FEMA that can do that.
No, not really.
No.
There are small groups that do it, and they all will go and form a bigger group at a
All right.
major.
Okay,
at a
it's the
major
asymmetric model. All right.
but military comes in, and that's where you get the National Guard involved, and the National Guard goes in teams.
They've got very few competent elements for that sort of thing.
Well, I myself, I'm aged out of that. I'm too old to be doing
Yeah.
that. So I'm just a guy who points at shit on the map and picks up phones and then yells at people. That's about the extent of what I can do.
That's about where I am too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm 60 years old.
I'll do
so
your
I'm
maps
there
for
too.
Yeah, there you go. I'll do your maps for you. I'm really good at the maps and coordination. This is seriously interesting to be able to have this conversation, because it's just not something that anybody gets to talk about ever.
Yeah.
It's been interesting enough that we haven't even brought up any of the. I've got a screen full of tabs in front of me that we were going to go through, but this conversation with you has been infinitely more helpful.
Hell yeah.
Well, one of the things that I was yelling at the screen when you guys were talking about the guy that flew in with his helicopter.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Tell us about it.
And that really irked me, because he flew in there with a little tiny 2-passenger helicopter.
Basically a little bird. Yeah.
What was he going to do? He didn't announce, he didn't sign in, he didn't let any of the local officials know what he was doing. He just flew in and landed on a hilltop. He didn't have the ability to fly anybody out. He didn't show up with medical supplies. He didn't do anything as far as helping. And then he left his co-pilot there, his son, on the mountainside, flew somebody who needed help. Don't know if he charged for that or not, but he flew them back down to a way station. And the fire chief came out and said, "What are you doing?" He was violating several laws. He was violating the FAA laws. He was low-level flying. He was landing in a non-landing zone.
All right.
He never
There's
reported
really no
in.
landing
He
zones.
never
I'm
got
Stand by.
stationed.
All right, hang on.
He never got vetted.
No, okay. But, you're having a disastrous situation. All right. There's, very little coordination going on. Now, granted, I can see your side of this argument. And yes, he just had a 2-seater. I got it. But coordinating LZs in a disaster zone is, in my opinion, it's not going to happen.
It's
And
a nightmare.
and the FAA, they have regulations. They don't really operate on a bunch of, they have a few overarching laws, but most of the stuff they deal with is regulations. And in an emergency, you can draw a red line through a regulation a lot easier than you can an actual law.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And while he was flying in and out of there, we could not launch our drones and look and see what we needed to do.
No, I got it.
I'll be honest
anything.
with you need better drone pilots.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. I know the coordination that takes, and it's not that difficult to avoid a helicopter in broad daylight. For a competent drone pilot, I'm not bagging on you or questioning what went on down there. I'm just saying that that indicates a need for a better level of competency in certain areas, particularly airspace.
Now, if he had come in months before and known the local fire department and worked with the local emergency management and said, "I've got this helicopter as a resource that you can use. Let me know how I can help if there's a disaster."
Oh, I agree.
Then he would be vetted. He would have the right frequencies of radio to talk to him, communicate with him. He could come in there, land where he needs to be, and then go out on a search and rescue mission. Everybody assumed that this is a good guy. We don't know.
I would put money on his intentions being good.
Yes.
I would put a considerable sum on his intentions being good.
Well, first of all, the investment of an airframe is incredibly expensive.
And it is known that the guy paid for his own fuel and did not charge anybody for anything. That was that information is available out there, and it's flowing through some of the chats right now. I'm just going to pull from that, but I see what you're talking about. I see how they could get in the way. So there's two sides to that story. One, the government agencies that are in there need to be able to control their airspace better, but that pilot should have at least attempted some level of coordination and said, "I want to go into this region, give me an operational zone."
Well, here's another thing. All right. We don't know if this guy has a military background. He might just be a 100% civilian guy who has a helicopter. A military guy would be like, "Hey, I should probably land this where there's police and actual rescue workers and let them know I'm a resource for them to use. Get on the roster." That would probably go.
That's what I'm agreeing with.
Yeah.
I have a question though. I do have a question though. There are two incidents, and I doubt this was FEMA because that I know of, FEMA does not possess any military style helicopters. A Black Hawk and a Chinook, both prop washed.
Yeah, those are National Guard. They were National Guard assets.
What I'm asking is this: do you know anything about that, Agent X?
I saw it. I saw the video of it,
Okay.
and I do not
You don't have
know
any
anything
internal
beyond what you know.
Okay,
Now, first of all, like the Black Hawk prop wash,
that was deliberate.
For the most part, that's not really a super big deal. But when you have a Chinook
That's a whole different story.
flying over doing prop wash, that can injure people.
Yeah, it's major damage.
And it could do major damage. So that's a big no, in my opinion, of course.
Absolutely. I agree with you.
We called them the freaking hair dryer from hell.
Yeah.
We had an Air Force Sergeant Major equivalent. I think they're called Chief Master Sergeants in the Air Force, who wanted to go out with us to pick up some equipment. And we sat down, put our 4 guys on the ground. He got out with us. And when the Chinook lifts off, you turn away from the damn thing, even if you're wearing goggles. But no, this E9 decided he wanted to turn around and film the Chinook taking off. We had to recall the Chinook to evac the damn guy because he sanded his corneas off. He ended up medically retired because he was stupid.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of stuff that a Chinook backwash will do to you.
Yes.
And again, we have absolutely no control over what military does.
No. I said that right off the bat. I knew they weren't your guys' birds. I just wondered if you had heard anything.
All right, Agent X. All right, we're good. It's now after 9. We're going to get on to some of these other tabs we have to talk about. So I appreciate you coming on the show and give us your insight. This is really helping me understand a lot of this process.
This is really good. I'd like to have more conversation along these lines because this really has been informative.
Yeah.
Well, I really love hanging out with you guys, and that's what it feels like whenever I tune in. Is I'm just hanging out with the guys.
Outstanding.
Outstanding.
There you go. Well, you're just hanging out with the guys. We just chew different kinds of dirt, man. That's all.
That's it. All right, Steve. Let's get Agent X off the board.
Appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming in.
All right, thank you. All right, let's cover the rest of these.
Okay.
And
holy smoke,
that was really good.
No, that was really super freaking useful. There's a lot of stuff there that I had no idea how FEMA operated or that kind of thing. So,
well, it's kind of similar to civil affairs to a degree.
We had a lot of latitude. It sounds like they don't have.
Yeah.
Especially overseas.
Well, when I was doing civil affairs, there was always the hey you operations where you're like, hey, you got an extra truck? Hey, you got this? Hey, I need this.
I got called at 2 a.m. for a couple of things.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. Get the hey yous or swap this for that.
Yep.
Do me this favor. I'll do this. We'll get everything hooked up.
Sergeant, this is the Colonel. I know it's 3 a.m, but meet me at the airfield at K-16.
Yes, ma'am. Wife, what the hell's going on? Just don't worry, honey. Go back to sleep.
Yeah, I got to work.
I'll be back in a couple of days.
I got to work.
That was fucking normal too.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I hated that. No, I didn't hate it. I actually did not hate it. I should not say that. It was. Let's see here. We're sharing screen. Okay, this one is actually something that I really want to share.
Now, hopefully we have you guys. Let us know in the chat if you can hear this. If we're gonna.
This is a Mexican guy from California who. I'm going to put the volume up there.
Okay.
Moved to North Carolina for economic reasons because living in California, it's $3,000 for a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
Listen to what this guy says.
Right there by the church. It threw a we're not sure what it threw, but it crashed the carport and then it knocked down the house.
What's your name?
My name's Manny. The only positive thing I gotta say, man, hey, that's these mountain people. And they taught me a lot. Because where I come from, people don't help us out like this, man. I mean, that's, you're from the West Coast. People don't help us out like this. I mean, people stopped by, dropped off food, water. Everybody was telling us that the National Guard was here and that FEMA was here. Hey, man, they weren't here. They were in the rich areas. They weren't here. I don't know.
That's cool.
Yeah, that one. I'm just gonna say it. It's a culture thing. There's the evil button pushing monkey.
All right.
Shown. Thank God, Jimmy. You there?
What a day! What a day! What a day!
Oh my God, he's our evil wrench turning button pushing monkey. Now he has upgraded his abilities. He will become Mecha Monkey soon.
There you go. I do have everything pulled up. The Rumble chat kind of screwed up on me there. The only one I see is there from Nick Coldus there, $20. Election fast approaching. Stay frosty.
Yep.
Yeah, we're not into those yet, but we're getting there. We had Agent X from FEMA on. You're going to want to go back and listen to that. He gave us a lot of good information.
Yeah.
Oh, goody.
It was really cool to have that perspective because I've never had the chance to talk to one of those guys. Mostly we had to chase any government people out of our AO and I wanted to punch them most of the time.
Or they just wouldn't answer questions.
But they wouldn't answer questions.
Yeah, they'd be like, yeah, I'm just here, man.
Yeah. That guy we just showed, Manny, is obviously a Mexican from California, and the guy's crying. You can see. I'll bring that back up real quick. He is shocked by the generosity of those people, and I'm just going to say it right out. It is a staple of rural white culture.
Yeah.
Anywhere you go where there is rural white culture, if there is a disaster, people just automatically step up. It's just a thing. And I've seen it my whole life. And especially if, like in some of the smaller communities, if somebody dies, everybody shows up at your house and brings food. And you don't have to do anything like laundry, dishes, all of that stuff. Somebody will show up and do all of that stuff for you. It's a staple of our culture. And it's a dying part of our culture. But this is a Mexican guy from LA or thereabouts experiencing it, and you can see he's genuinely blown away by mountain people culture.
That's cool.
It is cool. Meanwhile, and no, Agent X, we're not digging at you, but this is just reality here. Blue Cross Blue Shield North Carolina worked directly with the Democrat Governor Roy Cooper's office to slow down disaster relief to Western California. Let's see if we can get up here. As many of you have seen over the past few days and read in Tunde's post, Hurricane Helene has caused devastating damage, thousands of homes destroyed, vast areas flooded, widespread power outages, and loss of life. Full impact of the flooding, especially in western North Carolina, is still unfolding. This is Cheryl Parquette from Blue Cross Blue Shield, apparently, here. We are coordinating all disaster response efforts through the governor's office, and they've asked us to spread the following message. Do not travel to Western North Carolina to deliver donations, volunteer, bring home cooked meals, or view the devastation. The roads are impassable, and rescue and recovery operations are ongoing, but they're coordinating everything through the governor's office, which is going to stall the crap out of it. This is part of a whole huge thread. Jimmy will put the links up on with the show so you can see all of it. Basically, they stalled everything and only provided to specific areas. And you heard the guy say it just now. He said the FEMA guys and the relief guys are all only over in the rich areas.
Yes.
And not in on the poor. I wish we had the chance to review that with Agent X. He'll probably comment on that. Please do comment on that in an email. I know you're out there listening. And on top of that, pure evil. Volunteers allege Kamala Harris's camp ordered National Guard to load life-saving supplies on plane for photo op with the intent of never sending the aid. This just sounds, we've seen this administration do this.
Yeah, this is photo op.
Over and over again. Like when the bodies were coming back from Afghanistan, freaking Sleepy Joe, the president of the United States, watching bodies come off, checks his watch.
Yeah. That's fucked up.
You know, that's the kind of people these people are. Kamala Harris committed a heinous act during the Hurricane Helene recovery efforts that combine the worst elements of narcissism and evil, according to members of a highly respected rescue organization. Pundit has extensively reported on Harris-Biden regime's deliberate neglect of the Hurricane Helene victims, not only cruelly refusing aid to the primarily rural voters, but are also dealing out billions of dollars to illegal aliens straight from FEMA's budget. Now, I don't think Agent X would have access to that level
somebody
of
out there
knowledge. That sounds like top level.
Yeah, somebody's got to have that information.
That's
somebody
PS13 to SES level.
Yeah. Well, somebody out there has got to be doing a FOIA on this.
Yeah. FOIA the hell out of this. Dig into these links and start sending out FOIAs and show us the results. We'd love to see that.
Yeah.
Volunteers Jonathan Hayward and Charles Keebaugh, members of the nonprofit group Aerial Recovery, joined former Navy SEAL Sean Ryan on his podcast Thursday to detail their experiences with hurricane relief and what they witnessed while on the scene. Aerial Recovery has been active in North Carolina during Helene. According to its website, Aerial Recovery trains and deploys humanitarian special operators to respond to natural and man-made disasters. And that is the kind of SAR stuff I'm talking about. Those guys really know what they're doing, and they've got the stamina and the ability to get in there and hang.
Yeah.
Because your own life is at stake in there. If you go in there and you don't bring enough water or something like that,
you're done.
you, or the ability to produce it, you're cooked. During the second half of the interview, Howard stated that sources told him that Harris ordered the North Carolina National Guard to load a C-17 full of supplies just so she could have a photo op. More infuriatingly, she did this knowing full well the life-saving supplies would never reach the victims. Ryan could not believe what he was hearing and asked to repeat shall we watch this?
Yeah.
All right.
And then also from that video, I started getting a lot of messages like to my Instagram from like actual like aircraft commanders, like squadron commanders.
No kidding.
I had a squadron commander from North Carolina reach out to me. They had to load a C-17 full of supplies just to take a photo op for Kamala.
Wow.
And they never sent the bird.
Jesus.
Wait a minute, what?
They loaded an entire C-17 full of supplies for the hurricane victims just for Kamala to go there, take a photo, take a video, and they never sent the C-17.
Wow.
It was
Are
just
you
a full,
serious?
Yeah, that was a National Guard, North Carolina National Guard unit. That was a 06 that reached out to me. And then I had another.
He reached out to you to
Pretty
tell
valid
you
source, man.
that they did a photo op and
Yeah.
with the intention of never sending.
Never sent
the
it.
aid.
It was just a photo op. And then also from
Jesus.
Wow. That's fucked up.
That's frickin' twisted.
All right. Don't play the other one. So
That's okay.
all right.
This is the one that concerns me, and I hoped to be able to get to it. And we've got just enough time here.
Okay.
What the federal government is now doing, because scary mountain men up in the mountains, and they're militias. They're really creating.
Hang on. I'm going to talk about militias here for a minute.
Do it.
All right. There's a reason the word militia shows up in the Constitution.
Yep.
All right. This country was built around a tapestry of militias that existed across the entire colonies. They needed to have them back then because that's just the way it works. And current year, with the way, in my opinion, we're seeing the degradation of law enforcement, the degradation of the military, the fact that a majority of Americans don't trust the government anymore.
No.
I fully support, having each county raise their own independent militia just so you have extra hands if you need them.
Yeah.
And you can have a sheriff deputize these individuals.
Yep.
And then you can get around all of the other horse shit, all of the other, federal regulations and what have you. And guess what? If there is enough militia units out there, big government would have to think twice before, doing a lot of their fun and games.
Government should be scared of us, not
Yes.
the other way around.
I mean, that's,
period.
That's what you read between the lines when you read the Constitution of the United States.
Yes.
All right. So did this actually happen? I don't know. It's written up here, so people are going to believe it. I got it. But again, we just talked to that guy, and we brought up the fact that most people don't trust the government.
Yeah.
So you're going to have people on the ground not trusting the government going, you know what? We got this. Get the hell out of here.
This, to me, reads as a convenient excuse for
fear-mongering?
3 certain things. One, to minimize the real operations that the government has to be responsible for. By containing it to a Walmart parking lot, basically.
Yeah.
Those country folk up in those mountains, they're hard to get to. That's a lot of effort, and it's resources that I don't think the federal government has anymore.
Yeah,
I don't think they have the ability to get up into those kind of mountains anymore. Two, it puts doubt in the minds of a lot of the public because they see these militia things, and now all of a sudden you get the big scary militia things there. Oh my gosh, I'm afraid to go in there, and it makes people paranoid and pits them against each other. And three is obviously a ploy to set up the whole, we're going to need your guns.
Yes.
You're gonna need to turn in your gun
For your safety.
Because for your safety.
Yeah. And how many times have you heard that in modern history? Every time we hear that.
Last 10 years we've been hearing it.
Well, I'm just talking about every time you hear of a government, taking guns away from their civilians or their citizens.
Look what happened to Australia. Australia's full-blown communist dictatorship now.
But the thing is, like Germany.
Yep.
Then you had the Holocaust.
Yep.
Russia, they starved hundreds of millions of people to death. China, I mean, it goes on and on.
Correct you on the thing in Germany. They never confiscated guns. That didn't happen.
Okay.
They confiscated it from a certain segment of the population.
All right.
At any rate, it just is. It's a historical fact.
Yeah.
In Russia, absolutely. In Vietnam, in Laos, in Cambodia, there were weapons confiscations there. The Japanese, throughout history, confiscated weapons from civilians. I mean, we're talking for 900 years, 1,000 years they did that. It's well documented. The Okinawan martial arts styles, a lot of those, like the kama, the little hooked axe-looking thing, that's a grain threshing tool.
Yeah.
And they learned to fight with those because they weren't allowed to have spears or swords.
Yeah.
That's where all that comes from. Or the chain with a ball on the end. That's not practical. Nobody's walking into war with that. Come on.
All right, let's get on with this one.
But that's what's going on with these militia stories that are going on. And in that, of course, Patriot Front, white supremacists march in downtown Tallahassee, take photo at Old Capitol. So the Patriot Guard showed up, about 24 members of the hate group Patriot Front. Okay.
All right. Those are glowies.
They're not. I don't think they are.
You don't think so?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I do not think they are. They have never asked for anything. They've never done anything but go in and help or march around with flags. They've never done anything but go around with flags or help people. They went into the Tampa area and into the North Carolina area where the most damage was and just started helping. And this Tampa article right here straight up says it. According to online reports, photos, and videos, the group was seen marching with masks over their faces along the Tallahassee downtown market atop the Cascades Park Bridge and later gathered outside the Florida Hotel. They placed stickers that said nationalist lifestyle and white and radical on light poles downtown. Oh no, not stickers. Racist hate has no place in Tallahassee. I don't know how that computes as racist, but okay. I think it was the mayor of Tampa found out that they were helping and actually got mad that they had shown up to help when all they did was help.
Yeah.
So, and everybody says they're glowies. You know why? Because they iron their fucking pants and they shine their boots and they're in shape. Hey, glowy, got anything to say about that? When you were 30, you ironed your uniform, you shined your boots, and you were in shape. There's nothing wrong with that.
I mean, for my age, I'm still in okay shape.
Yeah, I'm not. No, round is a shape.
Yeah.
Round is a shape. Meanwhile, well, they're worrying about, and really 24 guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
What are they going to do?
Come on. Treasonous Mayorkas wasted FEMA funds helping illegal aliens. Now he says there's not enough for Americans. Now here's the high-level stuff. Mayorkas runs DHS. He's the one who would have access to those commands to do something like that. Texas Governor Greg Abbott and others have demanded the Biden-Harris administration finally put Americans first. Hurricane Helene has killed hundreds of Americans. We really think it's in the thousands, if not 10 or 11,000, like we mentioned. Again, Agent X, we agree with you. We think that the estimate is there, and we understand the concept of only being able to put out the numbers that they have absolute concrete proof of. I get that. Help is badly needed. The trouble, according to Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, who is mysteriously a Cuban running a major organization of the United States.
Huh.
He's a Jewish Cuban. He's a Cuban.
Gotcha.
Is the Federal Emergency Management Agency lacks the requisite funds. During a press briefing Wednesday, Mayorkas told reporters, "We're meeting the immediate needs with the money we have. We're expecting another hurricane hitting. We do not have the funds." He, of course, is talking about Milton. This was in between the two hurricanes, this particular article. Congress recently poured $20 billion into FEMA's disaster relief fund and enabled the agency to draw funds with greater ease. Whereas Shelter and Services Program is a prime offender. So there's a whole separate program inside the government. And look here, there's a link to it.
Is there...
Share this tab instead. I think I shall. Got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Shelter and Services Program, as directed by Congress, is a Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2023, is administered by FEMA. So what they do is break these off into all these little tiny agencies that you can't keep track of them.
Yep.
And then
it's the three shell Monty, man.
Yes, it is three shell Monty.
Where's the money? Where's the money?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, look, it's not over here. Look, Haitians. And this is where they have funneled it all off to. Again, the links will all be up there. The one for that FEMA link is inside the Blaze article. Earlier this year, nearly 19.6 million, just call it 20 million, please.
Yeah.
In FEMA funds was used to pay for an illegal alien welcome center in San Diego County. Why are your tax dollars being used to pay for illegal invaders to enter your country?
And then giving them a welcome center.
Why are you paying for your own invasion?
Yes.
This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. And then they beat you in the face and call you racist for it.
Yeah. Well, they called me a racist because I love America.
I know. I have been called the same for that.
I'm a patriot and I love this country.
Yep.
And listen, you call me Istophobic at all you want. I don't care
anymore.
I don't care anymore.
I do not care. Do not care. Representative Tim Burchett of Tennessee tweeted FEMA spending over $1 billion on illegals will leave Americans stranded without help is treasonous. There's the word we want to hear.
Yes.
U.S. citizens are dying. Pray for our country, folks. My ass, get off your couch. It's treason. It is time we started acting like it.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm getting a little spun up.
I got you.
Now, I got to put out the disclaimer.
All right.
Not advocating violence. But I have watched people in a town go into county meetings and shut down BS. You can do it. Okay? They serve at your pleasure. You just have to have the balls to go in there and remind them that we're actually in charge. It's time to take that back. And you do it at the county level. And it works.
Yeah.
Because if the counties won't comply, then the state's screwed because the state is comprised of the counties.
Yeah.
Now the state's not complying. And now the country is screwed because the states aren't complying because the country is made up of the states. You can't drain the swamp. You have to shut the feeder streams down first.
Well, yeah, or the feed.
Or the
because
feed.
they're based. They're fat hogs up there.
It are fat hogs. Yeah. Something about slaughtering something not fed posting.
I got you, but you just cut off the feed.
I look fat in federal orange, and I don't like.
I don't think I would survive in jail. So
I think I would survive, but I would definitely be unhappy.
Yeah, well, that's what jail's for.
Fuck.
All right, Jimmy, let's go through some super chats here.
All righty.
Thank God you're back, Jimmy, because I have no capacity for doing that. By the way, our cameras are flipped, and I don't know why.
Because we had to set them up at the last minute.
Dude, it was a fucking nightmare. It was so bad.
All righty. Again, apologies for me being late here tonight, gents.
Not at all. I know. You have to work, bro. Don't apologize because you have to work, okay?
Got a new job, and the time constraints are a pain in the ass. But over on the YouTubes, we got 319 likes with 570 viewers. I'll accept it.
All right.
Let's see. First one here from Brad Kesner, $20 says, not sure if you got my email and link I sent to a guy's charity organization that I follow. He's been on the ground, but it's on the subject. Cheers, gents. I believe I did find that. If it was the email with the YouTube link, I got that started for you, Pop. The video is about an hour long, according to that. So no way.
I saw that as well. We just had a packed evening.
Yeah. Well, we can't watch a video that's an hour long.
No. Maybe on Sundays.
As long as it's a packed evening, but there you go. Let's see. James McLeod, he's got our first We're Not Worthy. He's dropping $100 on us.
We're not worthy! We're not worthy!
Thank you very much.
You, man. We really appreciate it.
Wait for the. So did I. Had to drag a deer out of the field. Keep up the videos, Pop.
Yeah. Done that. It's a hump.
Always a good day when you're dragging.
Gotta
always a good day when you're dragging a dead carcass out of a field.
always got them first.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and of course, my laptop's going to have a fucking stroke on me, but we got. Click wait.
Murphy.
You fucker.
Murphy.
You son of a bitch. All right.
Murphy.
2 seconds here. Okay, we're back online here. We got Chad Layton dropping $10. No comment there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
And let's see. We got a couple from N9NDA3, 5 pounds each. Nice, thank you. He says, hello from Poland. We had a flood of a century in 1997. We also had severe flood a few months ago, and government also pretty much abandoned us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Hi, Poland. That's really cool. I'm glad you guys are watching from there. That's really cool.
Oh, yeah. And second one here says China has also had severe hurricane hit, and some satellite images show it looking like a greening death heads.
Yeah, but China asshole.
So China is asshole. Says and Pop, please check a game DEFCON from 2007.
DEFCON. Okay.
There
I
you go.
believe that's what an alien invasion game. That was XCOM. All right, I'll have to check it out.
Not sure.
I don't play video games. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the way that the gaming industry is going these days, I don't blame you.
I got crazy the other night and played old school Doom from 1993 for about half an hour, and then I was done.
Yeah, I just play War Thunder. Yeah.
There you go. And James McLeod here with $20 says, got men from Poland dropping in. Hell yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Hell yeah. We got 9NDA3 coming back, giving another 2 pounds, says, writing from my phone, so sorry for any mistakes.
Oh, don't worry about it. We don't
no
care.
problem. We're all a little
dyslexic as it is.
Yeah, I'm a dyslexicist.
We're all a little less dyslexic around here.
The older you get, the more less dyslexic you are.
Yep.
Yep. And James McLeod coming back again with $10 says, make Poland and America great again.
Okay.
Yep.
We had an awesome Polish community here in Detroit. It has been taken over by Yemen.
Yep.
And we don't know why. Well, we know why, but I wish it was Polish still because the food was
the food is pretty good.
It's been a while since I've had a good pierogi. Let's see. And Jackson Whittier coming in $10 says, Pop, how useful are drones in reconnaissance? I listened to your last stream about the guy in North Carolina. A drone seems like a good way to get a good look past FEMA and state police.
Yes. Actually, it's a very good way to do recon. That's why they're using them so much in the Ukraine conflict.
I was the tail end of the not drone era. They had started to use them, and group had one of the groups we worked with, one of the ODAs we worked with had throwbots.
Yep.
Do you remember throwbots? It was like a little tank thing that you could just throw it into a room and it would automatically right itself and you could drive it around.
Yep.
Fun
Or
times.
they had the small planes you could throw and they would go 600-700 meters.
Yeah.
Come back.
There you go. And jumping over to the Rumble side, that does it for the YouTube chats. Jumping over to Rumble, we got 676 pairs of eyeballs on here.
All right.
177 likes, though.
Ooh, a little lower than likes there.
I'll give you guys a little bit to get those numbers back up.
Oh, hit the like button before Jimmy does terrible things.
Yeah, they're not that terrible. Oh, okay.
Hillary and Nancy are terrible. Objectively speaking. Carry on.
Carrying on. All right, we'll jump over to a Rumble side here. Again, you might have to. If there's anyone else that donated before Nick Coldus there, I don't have that super chat, so I might have to have you scroll up and read those for me, Battledorf. But let's see here. Next one here. Of course, Alucard coming in with $5 request.
Oh, damn you.
All right, we got a super chat from early on. It's from Digital Deux. Colonoscopies are a bitch. Definitely shit your pants. I had to do a 2-day prep because my first 2, I wasn't cleaned out enough. And the other one is from Taintilum 180. Apparently, there are old lithium mines in the mountains of western North Carolina, allegedly.
No, we know that there are mines there for certain.
Yep.
Just saying.
Alrighty, let's see. Jump down here. We got Mando coming in with $5. Good to see you, good sir. Says, Steve, just say the word. We have a lab ready to get Jimmy reconfigured as a servitor. What level of lobotomy do you want?
I don't think you need a lobotomy, Jimmy. I just think you're going for mecha monkey.
Yeah, just I could go for a mecha monkey. I might have to change
build yourself an iron monkey suit at the garage.
There you go. See, Cliff 3188 coming in $2 says, quote from Thomas Jefferson: "When government fears the people, there is liberty. When the people fear the government, there is tyranny."
Yes,
correct.
It's correct.
Yeah. Let's see, Little Woody here. Phrasing.
Yeah.
Nice name. Says, I have owned a cabin in the Bouladine for 12 years and have people there, and they have adopted us into their family. They are salt of the earth, but do not trust the federal government.
Shocker.
Why would anybody? Yeah.
There you go. Mando coming in says, Jimmy, if you apologize for working again, I will spam you with Hillary's and Pelosi's.
Oh, there you go.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Oh, God. Oh, come on, man.
Let's see.
Island cringe up to 11.
Tomahawk here with $5 says, another great show, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We do our best with what we have.
Yep. And LB Weaver, he's saying, yep, Battledorf, yes, yes, and you can understand them when they speak.
I imagine you're talking about Koreans, and yes, I can.
There you go. And Professor Blake Pooh Ass Blaster 3000, the name that's a mouthful and thunder.
Careful.
Phrasing. Pop, let's just say I am buying cordless hole punchers as much as I can.
Yeah.
I don't blame you.
Not a bad idea.
Don't forget the freedom seeds.
Yeah.
And let's see. And Spud Hut here with $10 says Sean Ryan came out today on YouTube to correct that C-17. It eventually made it to North Carolina. Original plane was, quote, supposedly broke and grounded, and all those supplies were supposedly moved to another plane the next day.
Okay, so delayed for a photo op for Kamala. That makes it so much better.
Well, I mean, listen, I have to see it to believe it. I'm sorry.
Yep,
that's fair.
We're there. We're at that level. I need to see it to believe it.
Yep. And Professor Blake coming back in and says, "Pop question: Hillbilly Hillary?"
Oh no!
Oh man!
God damn it! No.
Yeah, Pop said no, so there's your answer.
We'll play it at the end. Play it at the end.
There you go.
They keep the fans happy.
And Alucard 1776 coming in and says, I managed to get my hands on a mini dehydrator.
Oh, that's interesting.
Nice. And let's see, looks like last one here on Rumble here says from Rural Man Life, says, Battledorf, you are spot on about white rural people. Someone passes, they all pitch in. Thank you for sharing that.
I have had family members die over the years, obviously. And I remember when I was little, it's just food showed up and the house was automatically clean. And the grieving family had to do nothing but just be consoled.
Yeah.
Great aunties would show up and do all the laundry. Cousins would come over, cut the lawn, and like wash the cars and everything. It was crazy.
Yeah, that's good shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Alrighty. My laptop was not going to have another stroke here, hopefully. Did have a couple super chats over on MGTOW.tv. Yep, got some from 3 in a row from Crazy Uncle here. First one says, I'm wondering what the October call-in show is going to be. Got some spooky shit for the show.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Send us spooky shit for show. We are doing spooky shit.
We're doing spooky shit.
Yeah, Pop and I have been, for the last week, we've been combing through stuff to dig.
It's all like a military theme, though. But if you have spooky shit, you can send it in.
Any spooky shit we'll do. Bring it.
Yeah.
There you go.
And in the subject line, put spooky shit.
Yep, there you go. And Crazy Uncle second one here says, one of the rules of survival I hear is it isn't the disaster that kills most people. It's the aftermath.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's called reality.
Yeah.
You know, food, water, staying warm, shit like that. That'll get you.
Rumble just crapped a bunch more super chats, by the way.
All right, let me bring that chat back up.
Go over to YouTube here because I wasn't monitoring that because I was doing the Jimmy job, which I'm no good at.
That's all right. Let's see. Yep. We got a few more here. We got a We're Not Worthy for the first one here from, I'm gonna open up the window again. Come on, you fucking mouse. From Boxer 686P. We got another We're Not Worthy dropping $50.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Thank you, man.
There you go. And his comment here says, Battle Dwarf says that Patriot Front aren't glowies, but what if FEMA actually operates Patriot Front when they have nothing else to do? Not out of the question, given Homeland insecurity in charge.
I'm sorry, that's just here's why I think Patriot Front is not glowies, because they're always on the news. In a negative light. The news despises Patriot Front.
Yeah.
And the feds, the real glowies during January 6th, for example, have never been brought out. And we know that they were all over there.
Yeah. I have my own theory about Patriot Front.
Anyway. Love them or hate them, there they are.
Ellie Card coming back in says, I'm planning to hook it up to a solar panel or a battery.
You're nuts? What?
His dehydrator.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay, don't hook your testicles up to a solar panel.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. And Mando coming back says, if the first sergeant came up with surprise training, did the troops call it a pop quiz?
That's fucking awesome.
No. Nobody ever called. Nobody was ever that smart.
Wow. Nobody ever fucking. Wow.
No.
I mean, I've known you for years, and I didn't come up with that.
Yeah,
that's good.
So I used to do health and welfares, pop inspections.
Yeah.
I used to show up at people's chews, like, how many bottles of piss you have under your bed? Let me guess. I'm guessing 8. And I go look. Oh, you only had 6. I did that all the time in Iraq because that was just disgusting.
Yeah. Stay away from the truck stop lemonade.
No. I came up with a song called Pissing in a Bottle based off of the Police song.
Oh, no.
I get on
no,
megaphone.
not right now.
I get on the megaphone and I'd be like, all right, I'm looking for pissing in the bottle.
Nice. Let's see. Next one, Brooke Pine 284 $5 says, a vacuum sealer is a great investment. Take my fake clown idea cash.
Thanks, man. Yes, it is. It is.
Yep. And Professor Blake coming back in and says, hey, Pop, my stupid friends just voted for Come Swallow after I told them all stupid shit she has done.
There's no helping some people. Point blank.
No.
Yeah, you can't help the stupid, man. You can't fix stupid.
Yep. And you
John
also,
Wayne came up
I
with
mean, you can, but in the current era, you go to prison if you help.
Yeah.
If you fix stupid.
That and you never argue with stupid because they will drag you down to their level and beat you with experience.
Yes.
Yep.
And it's the last one here from Susan McCarley. I used to live in a small town where churches were unofficially rated according to church ladies' funeral food.
Yes, that is a real thing.
Huh. All right.
There you go. All right, we'll jump back over here to, to MGTOW here. We got Crazy Uncle's third one here. Oh, excuse me. It says, for Pops preppers and everyone else, if you see anything like an avalanche, mudslide, flash flood, rock slide, or even horny fat women, remember that the answer to deal with them is all the same. Don't be there.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's really.
I believe he says that's
sound advice.
That's a quote from Mr. Miyagi from Karate Kid 2.
Of course it is.
There you go. Wax on.
Yeah.
Let's see. And MGTOW Ronan here, $5 says, "Hey Pop, what are your thoughts on black men torching Obama's ass on the internet for chastising them for not supporting Cammie and voting for Trump? Harris campaign."
I'm totally behind that. Listen, the Democrats have done nothing but lie to the minorities of this country for 100 years. They always promise you free shit and all these opportunities. They never deliver, and they never fucking learn. Yeah. So hopefully they're starting to learn.
I will refrain from the hard R, but it was FDR who said, I will have those voting Democrat for the next 100 years.
It was LBJ.
Or LBJ, thank you. And that's exactly what happened.
Yep.
There you go. And he finishes out here. Harris' campaign is freaking out because she's losing support of straight men, especially black men. Now they're panicking. First it was Magic Johnson, now Obama. And as a black man myself, Barack Obama can fuck off.
Yep.
Nice.
I like it.
Nice.
Yeah, and they're the new plan for Harris to pander to the black community is to grant $20,000 loans for businesses, and then like 5 or 6 other things. Oh, and she's also going to legalize marijuana. Remind me again what she did as a DA in California.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. You're correct. Now I'm 100% legalizing marijuana. It doesn't matter what party comes up with it. I'm behind that because I've seen many people go to actual big boy pound you in the ass prison for that, which is absolutely stupid. So yeah, not a fan.
Don't like the idea of legalizing smoking it in public. You do not have a right to get me stoned.
No, yeah, okay.
Or a small child. Smoke it at home. I don't give a rat's ass.
Yeah,
knock yourself out.
Yep, treat it similar to how alcohol is treated.
Well, you can't get your neighbor drunk.
Well, that's why
you can. But, you see what I'm saying. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah. Let's see. G-Man over on YouTube here, he just dropped in $7, says, "I'm not working the third shift right now, but take my lunch money anyway. Bring more boys into the regiment, Pop."
I'm trying.
We're working on it.
Working on it, man.
If I can actually get the 20,000 people who watch my videos on a semi-regular basis to take the video and just copy and paste it around the internet 10 times, it would be a huge hit to our algorithm.
Yeah, we're not going to copyright strike anybody who does that.
Yeah.
We're not going to do that. So feel free to distribute. Use the shorts. Use a bunch of I've got some pretty good pop shorts that are coming out right now. That it's 30 seconds of pop wisdom in many cases, with a few interspersals of what the fuck is Pop just saying.
There you go.
All right.
And we'll jump over here to Odyssey here, where we got 3 from Big Mike's Raging Wrecking Purple-Headed Prostate Puncher.
Oh my God.
Love saying that name.
You have a gift for pronouncing those names, Jimmy.
What can I say? I'm talented. Says his first one here says, "Where's my start of the stream Jeffrey Paul tunes?" Well, you know what? I think we'll end with some Jeffrey Paul tonight. How about that?
That's fine.
I think we've had enough cootie juices on our dishes.
Fair enough.
Just saying. And and Big Mike's second one here says, "Pop, you only think they knocked you out for that experience because you believed some degenerate like Barry who pokes a camera up your back door. Versed only makes you lose your short-term memory. Big Mike knows you were smiling for the whole experience.
Yeah. What I asked them what they gave me. And it was like torpolol and ketamine mixture, I think. And I remember that they're like, okay, we're giving you the stuff now. You're going to feel a little sting in your arm. And I'm like, oh, I feel it. And I wake up and recover.
You might want to find the names of those doctors and nurses and see if you're not on Instagram.
Yeah, that would be bad. there would be repercussions.
I'd help you go after that.
Yeah.
That would be bad. And Big Mike's third chat here says, Battle Hobbit, regarding New Orleans, how much has the land in the New Orleans subsided in the last few centuries? Let's be fair to keep civil engineers. Keep in mind that the land in the Sacramento Delta area, which is surrounded by dikes, has subsided around 20 feet, if I remember right, in the last century alone.
I just wanted to take the opportunity to bag on the French, to be completely honest. But it was a major engineering feat, and we have lost a lot of those skills. People say, oh, how did we get into space? Go pick up a 5th or 6th grade math book from the 1920s and try to solve one of those problems without a calculator by yourself.
Good luck.
We have lost a tremendous amount of knowledge in the last 60 years. Just huge amounts of knowledge. Anyway, carry on.
Yep. All righty. Moving over to D-Live. We got no lemons over on D-Live. And, of course, they're hiding the viewer count from me. Bastages. But over on the Twatter sphere, or X, if you want to call it that, we got 39 viewers over there.
Ooh, that's an improvement for Twitter.
We got some on YouTube from Pete.
Twitex.
Yeah, he said $1.99. What's up,
Pete?
And then we have $2 from the Plains Warrior. It says here, and we have $9.99 from Pete, and he says, "Suck it."
That just sounds like something Pete would say.
He does it all the time.
Yeah.
It's just I actually went to war with him.
I've only met him a couple of times, but he struck me as a good dude.
Solid dude.
Yeah.
Solid.
Oh, yeah.
I can remember. I can't tell how many times he'd be like, pull me aside. Hey, this is all fucked up. You need to get into something. I'd be like, what? That's the first time hearing of
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'm all over this. Like white on rice, man.
There you go.
Let's see. All right, we'll jump back over here to the Rumble chats. We got a couple more come in. Alucard, he's got a good question mark idea. Use those piss bottles as ammo for an air cannon. Freeze the piss bottle.
That's gruesome.
That's biological warfare, and I'm pretty sure that's banned by the Geneva Convention.
I have seen somebody take the MRE heater, put it in a piss bottle, open the door of a porta shitter with a guy in there, and hold the door closed.
That's fucked up. That's fucked up.
What happens is the bottle explodes.
No, in Iraq.
For those of you who don't know,
I was literally in the Black Hawk. I had the earphones and everything, and I can hear the chatter. And the pilot and co-pilot is like, "Is Randy going the shitter yet?" And you can hear like the guy, the crew chief.
Oh,
he's on his way. All right, and we're just sitting there hovering, and I'm like, "We're supposed to be leaving."
Really?
And he's like, "Just stand by, sir."
Stand by.
All right, he's confirmed. He's in the shitter. And they knock it down and it blows away. And there's a spray of blue and they all laugh as they fly away. It's fucking awesome.
Here's the thing that you civvies don't get the pleasure of hearing on the helicopters, the crews.
They all talk in this game show host monotone.
Yeah.
And nobody ever really raises their voices unless something very weird is going on or something very funny.
Yeah.
It's the strangest thing. They all talk in this constant monotone.
Yeah, you're absolutely correct.
Unless something got weird, then they would get loud.
Yeah,
I've heard a couple of crew chiefs start yelling into the mic. Anyway,
all right, sorry, carry on.
And Alucard comes back and says he knows it's a terrible idea, but it just might work.
No, it's a terrible idea, but yeah,
I don't condone it, but it would be funny.
I have seen piss bomb MRE bombs thrown into porta shit.
That's bad.
Yeah, it's bad. It's very
That's
many angry.
That's not a good day.
Angry. There you go. And Professor Blake coming back again says, Pop, keep up the good work and tell Battledorf he belongs in the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, fuck off.
Yeah. Didn't I call you Battledorf like when you first started living at my house?
Yeah. I got called the dwarf, though, in 97 when I was at 2ID because I was the smallest guy in the platoon, period. So, all right.
Are we caught up?
And Mando coming back and he's asking, Pop, are you going to, just about, Mando coming back, Pop, are you going to do a live erection night coverage this time?
I actually talked with Blake, and he's on board with it. It's a Tuesday, so it'd be me, Steve, and Blake will probably remote in.
I would do it.
Yeah. That way we can all be in the comfort of our own home watching the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're going to do that.
By the way, it's the 15th of October. We are 20 days away from that, essentially. I am going to highly advise everybody have a go bag handy and a plan, because it is an opportunity for, I don't know if anything's going to happen. I hope like hell nothing happens, but it is a big opportunity right now given the climate in the country. So I would have a plan and a go bag handy.
Yep. I actually made a Twitter post that said, if Trump wins the election, the cities are going to burn. If Kamswallowa wins the election, the entire country is going to burn.
Correct.
So, like I said, we don't condone it. We don't want that to happen, but it
just is what it is, man.
It is a very big possibility here. All right, we'll jump over here to the cash apps here. We got a couple of We're Not Worthies here in a row.
Ooh.
First one from Crunch Muncher. I'll go ahead and play those. See, here's some funds, but it's going to cost you.
Rut-row.
Here we go.
Dude, my retinas, that sears into my retinas for like hours.
See, and I'm dead enough inside where it just doesn't bug me. I just
doesn't even phase Jimmy's cold, dead heart.
Nope. And let's see, the second one here from Red Skyer here says, "Hey, Pop and team, big fan and love what you do. Thanks."
Thank you very much.
Thanks, man.
You know what? We love you, no homo, but we are so not worthy.
We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. All right, see, jump it back. Whoa. Didn't mean to click that button. All right, let's see. Justin here with $25 says, funding Evil Pop's late night ice cream binge.
I've seen that happen.
God damn it.
Yeah, Evil Pop bitch. What can I say?
And let's see, the last one here, $5 from HKC says, for helping out.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you all. Oh, so
He
much.
just paid YouTube for $1.99 and said, Pop, check your text messages.
Yeah, let's see. That bastard.
It could mean anything, by the way.
Hopefully it's not a picture like what Sarge sent Blake on Thursday.
He's saying that the U.S. Army has been issued lethal force orders.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I did hear about that.
That's why you need militias. That's just saying.
Yep.
All right.
All right. Looks like no other super chats over on the Rumble side. MigTower.tv is all caught up here. Odyssey, Big Mike's the only one over there. So I think we are all caught up. No more cash apps.
Well, oh yeah, we're good.
All right.
All right.
So, Pop, I believe we're ready for a safety briefing.
All right, everybody. Getting down to the wire here. All right. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink and swim. It's not going to work out for you. If you must fornicate, wear a condom, take it with you, flush it down the toilet, because child support does last 18 to 21 years. If you have to engage in fisticuffs, run away first. If you can't, do everything in your power not to go to the ground, because that is where you get stomped out. Rack up, pack up, and stack up. There's always safety in numbers. They're called a clique or a tribe for a reason. Okay. Maintain your situational awareness, because if you are going to be attacked, something in your environment will have changed. It's up to you to see it. And lastly, I'm sick and tired of throwing you guys into the ground for taking permanent solutions to temporary problems. All right, stay in the goddamn fight. Live out of spite. Do whatever you have to do, because you have no idea what tomorrow holds for you. There you go. All right.
Ready. Battledorf. Final words.
Well, looks like there's one more on the Rumble chat, so I'll use my final words for that. Alucard 1776 throws $5 at us and says, try regenerating from it, aka the Evil Hill, and it's painful, but I also need a strong beer. I'm not entirely sure what that's referring to.
Okay.
Either. But as the things get crazier and crazier, I've said it before, I'll say it again, and I'll just keep on saying it. Go over and get yourself a shirt. Get some merch.
Yeah.
So that, if you're traveling around and happen to be unfortunately put in some crosshairs and we see an evil hairless monkey shirt on you,
maybe you'll run into a member of the tribe.
You're good.
Yeah.
You're
The
good. Yep. There's all kinds of good stuff on there, not just shirts, but beer mugs, all kinds of glasses and good shits. Go over there and get you some. And, well, I think there was a request from Big Mike for some Jeffrey Paul tunes. This is the countdown video, but you know what? I think we can end on that.
All right.
All right.
Take it easy, everybody.
Take it easy.
Have a good night.